Welcome back to another great interview here at the Awaken Your Potential Summit. Today we've heard from a medical intuitive, a Native American shaman, and now we are going to hear from a corporate shamanist, Jackie Schroeder. She's a gifted intuitive, shamanic practitioner, licensed psychotherapist, and executive coach. She's a Psi Chi graduate of the University of Maryland with a dual master's degree in administration and clinical social work. She has such a broad background in esoteric and metaphysical studies, energy psychology, spirituality, personal and business development practices. And she is just an incredible individual to work with, whether you are looking to enhance your business, have more team development, executive coaching, or really anything where you want to have access to more enthusiasm and a clear path to show really different positive results for your life and your business. So thank you so much for joining us. Welcome, Jackie.
Hi, Kym. Thank you so much for inviting me. Nice to be here with you today.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. Now, you talk about your motto as being business success from the inside out. What do you mean by this?
It would be helpful if I let you know and share with you some of my premises, my foundation for where I'm coming from. And there are a few of them. First and foremost is that everything that happens for the good. And so our reason for being is to create and contribute and grow and become all that we're meant to be. And although our egos try to convince us that there's separation and duality in our life and in our world, our soul reminds us that everything is actually one. We are all one. This is a mystical concept, but it's also a very grounded concept in that everything I face as a person is a reflection of me. You are me, the situations I encounter are me, meaning that these situations are conjured by me and then outpictured in just the perfect reflected way so that I can actually see myself. I can actually be aware of how I'm presented in the world. So our eyes only focus in one direction physically. They only go in a half moon. They don't turn toward us. Other people show us who we are, what we're thinking and feeling and desiring. And so when I say that business success is from the inside out, what I mean by this is that what's happening in our business is a reflection of what's happening within the people in the business, and in particular the people who are in the leadership positions, the founder, the executives, the leadership teams, and how they are manifesting what is going on inside of them is seen through what's happening in the business. More than that, another of my very important premises is that we're each here to serve each other, whether that appears in a way that looks like dissonance or disharmony, or the beauty of a flower sitting on someone's desk. And so just as an example, when you called me about doing this interview, you're very interested in ways that people can purify their environments. And so I immediately think about, well, how purified am I? And because whatever is in my environment reflecting me is going to be as pure as I'm able to be for myself. And NASA did some really interesting research on indoor air contamination and removing toxins that are connected to those contaminants. And they used plants. And so in our work environments and in our physical environments, our bodies, we're exposed all the time to chemicals and toxins, all kinds of pollutants. And in the workplace, very prevalent is the toxin formaldehyde. It's in all the particle board that makes up our desks and office furniture now. Pretty much gone are the days that people can afford to buy wood furniture. It's in, our carpeting and all kinds of things. And so NASA found actually 19 species of plants that they tested, 17 of which are true house plants, and 2 species of daisies that are used indoors. Ordinarily as seasonal decorations, actually extract and transmute the chemicals and toxins that are in our environment. So I'm using this as an example because of my belief that we're all here to serve each other. The plants seem like they're there to bring us beauty and to give us peace and calm during the day, expand us when we look at them, experience joy. But what also is happening is that they are serving us in a much broader way. They're extracting the pollutants in the air and converting everything into oxygen so that we can breathe. They're giving a lot to us as we are letting them know how much we appreciate them and how beautiful they are, and we're giving them water and we're giving them sun. So there's this exchange. This may be a little bit far-fetched metaphorically, Kym, but I also think that this is very true in how we are with each other in the workplace. Whether it's a home-based solopreneurship, a nonprofit, whether a person's working in a factory or driving a truck or making art, or working for a large corporation or governmental organization, the workplace is a holy temple. And it's the environment where we're going to be able to do and be everything that I just mentioned, in particular, grow. How do you like that?
I like it. So starting
with... Does it make sense?
It does make sense. And so if we're looking at the workplace as a temple, it's a reflection of us, and it's also an opportunity for us to give. There's a lot that goes on. It's not just going in and clocking in every day, or if you work for your own business or run your own business, it's not just doing all of the duties that are associated with that. There's a lot more to it.
There's a lot more to it. Actually, those duties and things like that are, from my view, they are not really the intent. They're the method. They're the pathway for us as humans, as spiritual humans, to make the world whole and make our own lives whole. So another thing that you had asked me about is conscious capitalism. I mentioned in my website that conscious capitalism is about looking beyond what meets our outer eye to search for fresh answers and new directions. And you asked me, what is conscious capitalism and what are its effects? And I think in response to what you're saying, that it's more than just the actual job that we're doing today or the goal that we're trying to accomplish. Conscious capitalism is really an emerging integration between awareness and capitalism. It's the perfect cousin to corporate shamanism, of merging spirit and business together. This idea that it's just good business, the practice of working for good, that's conscious capitalism, doing good business by focusing more than just making money. And, what is being conscious? What does that mean to be conscious? It means to be paying attention, to be awake. Mindful is a very popular word right now. um, a conscious business is one that intentionally aims at fostering peace and happiness in the individual, in the employee, and respect and solidarity not only within the community of the workplace, but also the broader community, stakeholders and customers, funders, and also being conscious about bringing peace and happiness to the mission, the accomplishment of the mission in the organization. So it's not just what we do, it's how we do it, who we are as we're doing it, and the effects of who we are being and our actions. Excuse me?
And that's whatever role we're playing in the business.
Whatever role, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we're the chief executive officer or the chief culture officer or the secretary or the delivery person who's bringing supplies. It doesn't matter. And part of this also, Kym, is expanding who we think we're working with. So some people are thinking that it's just me and my client. Some are thinking it's just me and my team. Some are thinking it's the people who are in the office environment where I go daily or weekly or monthly. Some people think it's the people who I'm meeting with over the phone, for a weekly collaboration. But I'm really talking about the broadest ecosystem of everyone that I encounter in my workday who has a stake in what it is that I'm doing. And when we start to exponentially view work this way, suddenly we realize we are all connected. We are all in a web. So the person who delivers paper supplies at my office is relating throughout the day to all of the other people that he or she is delivering to, and the people who are taking care of his or her truck, and the office environment that he goes back to, and all of his colleagues. It becomes a huge web like the Internet. And I just want to point out that, from this perspective, we're interpreting our world on a daily basis based on where our consciousness is. So in conscious capitalism, there's the idea that there's a response to individual and collective recognition of the power of capitalism and capitalists to generate great benefits. I mean, there's a lot said now, down on the corporation, and there's a lot of good reason for that. But also, who is in a better position to benefit and produce so much for so many people than huge corporations and capitalists? But at the same time, always where there's great benefit, there also can be profound harm. And so what conscious capitalism is about is enhancing our ability through our work to survive and grow and flourish in our continually increasingly populated planet and complexity of our world. So there's 4 basic principles of conscious capitalism. One is purpose. I already kind of addressed this, recognizing that every business has a purpose that includes, but is more than, making money. It's a form of human social organization to deliver value to themselves and others, doing something together. The second is stakeholder orientation, and this is also what I just mentioned, the recognition that the human has an interdependent nature, in the business. And we need to create value, we know this, and engage our stakeholders, who are people. Conscious capitalism and corporate shamanism is all about people. And then the third is conscious leadership. A good friend of mine, Richard Whiteley, who wrote many books, one of them, The Corporate Shaman, one, How to Love the Work You're With, and others, he says that that we have a responsibility to start reinventing leaders so that they lead their people and lead their organizations, run their own companies in a very different way. They need to be taught this. And that we can use cultural moments of truth. When we have important decisions to make, we have to take into consideration the culture that we're in. We have to teach leaders how to be present and what being present means. And we have to tell the truth, even if the news to tell is grim. Once we know the truth, then we can do something about it. We have to tell our stories. Like right now, I'm in a long-term training for how to tell inspirational stories to ignite within people their longing for knowing themselves and knowing God. And what are organizations? They're a compilation of stories, of people's stories, of the development of the business having stories, a story of a department, a story about its growth, and learning how to tell those stories. And we need to teach leaders how to be healers, thinking of that the person who's at the helm, who's presiding over all of it, has a profound responsibility for maintaining or bringing back into harmonious balance the health and welfare of all of its systems, the money system, the marketing system, the human resources system, planning, all of these. They're very alive. And then teaching leaders how to lead themselves. And this is really at the core of what's on the outside, is a reflection of what's inside.